Hannah smashes her mobile phone. She urgently runs through the rooms telling Bailey they have to go. 4 days earlier, her and husband Owen were living the basic day-to-day life. Just another average morning. Owen's daughter Bailey lives with them. Bailey is not a fan of her stepmom Hannah. Owen tells her to go easy on Hannah. Give her a chance. She's trying. Later that afternoon, a young girl delivers a note to Hannah. It's from Owen. It reads, "Protect her." Hannah notes the missed calls from her therapist, Jules. She tries to call Owen, but he isn't answering. Hannah goes to Owen's workplace. It's crawling with feds. She tells one. She's there to see her husband. She thinks better of telling the agent who her husband is. Smart move. She sees that Owen's parking spot is empty. He gone. She witnesses the company's CEO being led away in handcuffs. Hannah arrives to pick Bailey up from her play rehearsal. Bailey is loving on boyfriend Bobby. Hannah reads up on stories about the FBI's raid on Owen's company, the shop. Bailey finds a note attached to her backpack. It's from her dad. She's spooked. She joins Hannah. She shows her the note. It contains plenty of apologies, but no details of why. Also in her backpack is a bunch of cash, rolls of hundreds. They make it home. Jules, Hannah's friend/therapist, shows up. Hannah hides Bailey's backpack of money under the bed. She notices that Owen didn't pack any of his clothes. Jules tells Hannah someone tipped off the SEC that there was a problem with the software at Owen's company. They had inflated their value. Jules says when she called Owen with the info, he didn't ask the right questions. Instead of asking about details, he was asking about countries with no extradition laws with the US. Bobby tells Bailey that Hannah has to know what's going on. Take it easy, dude. It's already impossible for Bailey to hate her more. The next morning, Hannah reminisces about the good old days. She goes to talk with Bailey. Bailey reads the note for the 1000th time. She asks Hannah if she's hiding something. Hannah's like, "Look here, don't try me." U.S. Marshal Grady shows up outside Hannah's place. He fishes for info, tells Hannah that he can protect Owen. He leaves his number and adds that Owen isn't who she thinks he is. Hannah watches news coverage. She remembers Owen saying he needed to get away. She tells him there's nothing about his past that he can't tell her. Wrong. The CEO is released on bail. Hannah calls their lawyer, Carl, about this mess. He ain't answering. Bailey taking it all in. Unanswered text messages. Stories of her dad's co-workers being arrested. On the way to school, Hannah notices she's being followed. She does a fast and furious move to lose the tail. Social media is going ham on Bailey. Too much for her. Jules and her buddy Max tell Hannah that Owens is a material witness. Hannah tries to log into Owen's laptop. Finally, a show where a password isn't easily guessed. The feds show up. They want the laptop. Hannah bosses up with, "You'll need a warrant for that, buddy." They got one. Oops. Slam dunked on her. She mentions the marshal. The feds seem surprised. They tell her to beware of who she talks to. Since he ain't answering her calls, Hannah shows up at Carl's house. That cat doesn't want to talk, but his wife does. Tells Hannah that Owen schemed Carl out of a bunch of money. The marshal is watching Hannah. We get a little info about Bailey's mom. She died in a car accident when Bailey was young. The way Bailey hates Hannah, I would have guessed Hannah killed the mom with her bare hands in front of Bailey. Since Carl is a no-go, Hannah calls her ex-boyfriend and lawyer Jake for help. He tells her the marshal thing is odd. He'll get his own private investigator to look into things. Bobby tells Bailey he's leaving the Bay Area to attend Duke University, worlds apart. Bailey gets home. It appears someone has been inside. She goes to Hannah's shop. They go back home together. The money backpack is still there. They call the cops. Surprise, surprise. The cops were useless. Hannah winds down. Jules and Max pop up. Max thinks the marshal thing is fishy too. She notes his phone number is an Austin, Texas number. Hannah remembers Owen once getting freaked out at the mention of going to the Austin area. Lawyer Carl arranges a meetup. Owen didn't lose his money investing. Carl lost it gambling. And for what it's worth, he doesn't think Owen is a crook. He remembers Owen once made it a point he'd never been to Austin. People, Owen has been to Austin. Hannah calls the marshal's office, but when the receptionist directs the call, Hannah hangs up. She notices some dude watching her. Hannah asks Bailey about Austin, Texas. Bailey thinks she remembers going to a football game in Austin, Texas with her dad. Jake calls Hannah. He warns her not to play detective, so naturally she grabs Bailey and heads to Austin. En route to Austin, as Hannah returns to her seat, she notices passengers reading about Owen's company. She tells Bailey of her plan to return to the football stadium. Bailey says she hopes she doesn't expect her to remember some shit from 10 years ago. Bailey is a rotten person. Hannah listens to a voicemail from Jake. He says the FBI wants a sit-down with her. They either have some news or they have something on her. Hannah is being watched. She's using credit cards not in her name. They arrive at the football stadium, and Bailey is already on her shit. I wonder if they are purposely making her insufferable. Eventually, she remembers being at the stadium with her dad. He was wearing a suit. She was in a formal dress, perhaps wedding attire. Hannah calls Jules, gets her to look up churches within the radius of the stadium. I'm calling it Jules is involved. Hannah looks up and Bailey is gone. She wandered off like a 5-year-old child. Jules sends Hannah a list of wedding chapels within the vicinity of the stadium. Hannah gets a call from Avit, Owen's boss. He asks if she's heard from Owen. He claims this is a setup, just a simple accounting mishap. Then he mentions that Owen has a history, a bad history. Meanwhile, the marshal notes future Duke Blue Devil stopping by to leave a love package for Bailey. They visit a chapel. Bailey remembers being here for a wedding. Either due to privacy or laziness, the clerk isn't too willing to help them find weddings performed at that chapel on the day of the ball game. Jake calls Hannah about the FBI sit-down again, tells her to save herself and to stop trying to protect Owen. They're interrupted by Bailey and the clerk arguing. The marshal catches dude breaking into Hannah's. It's the same guy that was watching Hannah outside her home. He's Eric Cousins, head of security at the company where Owen worked. Grady sends him off and then breaks in himself. He finds the backpack of money. Hannah plans to go to the newspapers to look for wedding announcements. Then she wants to go down to the marshal's office and ask about old boy, Grady. Bailey goes off again, of course. Hannah remembers a conversation with Owen about Bailey's piggy bank. She asks Jules to go to her home and look for the piggy bank. Jules finds it and there's a key inside. She hears a noise from the adjacent room. It's Jake. He tells Jules he needs to talk to Hannah. His private investigator found some info. The histories of Owen and Bailey don't check out. They have no records. They don't exist. The setup is solid. Most of the characters are relatable. Despite some of the characters' decisions, the Hannah character is well played. The Bailey character is a little much to take. Hopefully it moves away from her being a major presence. There are a lot of moving pieces in this story, and many have yet to be revealed. By episode 3, the plot began to move in a familiar direction, so I'm somewhat weary about what lies ahead. After episode 2, I was at 7, but I'm dropping it to a 6 after episode 3. But I'm still in on this show for another episode because I suspect that it's building to something better.